All right. All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. My name is Bison, aka Bison Trades, over on Twitter. Welcome back to another episode of RareFUD Radio. On today's episode, we're going to be talking a lot. There's a lot of stuff. There's always a lot of stuff. These days, feels like we have a lot of stuff every single day. We're going to be talking about the Monkey DAO proposal, talk about what it means for the future of Monkey DAO, talk about ordinal monkey business. We'll talk about all the ordinals fad that's going on right now. We can talk about ordinal DGOTs too, because those things are cooking right now. We can also talk a little bit about token gated utility, why I'm bearish on it, why I think there's a better way to go about it, a better business model, just from some recent examples. We'll be talking about Famous Fox's mortgage. We'll be talking about Monkey Baby Business's new loan analytics platform. So got a lot to cover today. We will talk a little alpha today as well. If we get around to it, there's just so much to cover. So without further ado, let's bring on my co-host. We will have Joe joining late, in case you guys didn't see on Twitter. Ain't another day in paradise without Joe, right? Being a little late, that's okay. Nonetheless, we got Door here. Door, how you doing, my man?
Yo, what's going on, dog? Every day's a holiday and your boy's feeling good, man. There's life in the market, so, I can't complain. I guess we're in a bit of a lull right now, but it's not that bad. We're still in mint and print season, so I'm still happy.
Yeah. I mean, like these 3 mints still above mint price on all of them. Still holding pretty well. We'll definitely be talking about them, but we also have a ton of mints on the horizon over the next 2 weeks or so. There's a ton to get into. We definitely will. But before we do, let's jump into the market a little bit, talk a little bit about the health of the market, what we're seeing, what we like, what we don't. Magic Eden. Actually, the total overall volume is 195,000 Solana volume. Feels good, man. It doesn't feel like it today, though. I will say there's a lot of stuff that feels like it was a little pullback. Klano's down below 70 for the first time in a while. So interesting there. We do have Bastards pulled back a little bit. Oogie pulled back a little bit. Wolf Capital pulled back a little bit. So even with all this volume, it doesn't feel like everything's pumping or anything. It does feel like a little bit more profit-taking volume, if I were to say. So we are looking at about 122,000 Solana volume on Magic Eden, regaining 63% of market share. That's interesting. Tensor is at 19.5% at 38,000 Solana volume. HeySwap at 18.5 thousand Solana volume, about 10% of the market. And then the rest is history. Exchange Art actually doing about 3.85 thousand Solana volume. That's very interesting, especially since that doesn't take into consideration the fact that we did have the Claynosaurs, the NFT LA auctions were around that about 3 days ago. So that doesn't even take into account of that. Exchange Art's been doing pretty well, about 15,000 Solana volume over the past 7 days. Interesting. I think 101 Art may be something to look at as far as undervalued. But with all that being said, life looks pretty good in the market. There's some stuff moving along. Like I said, it feels like a lot of profit-taking volume and everything like that. But I want to kick it back over to you, Dor. What do you think about the market right now? Where are you at?
Yeah, man, I'm feeling like you said. I've been even in profit-taking mode right now. So I think a lot of people go to Magic Eden because that's the most utilized platform still. And if people are trying to take profits, they want to get rid of their stuff as fast as possible. So sorry, that's probably why we see a lot of liquidity move back to there. But I just think we're in a lull right now. You know, we had NFT, the hype of lead up of NFT LA, but NFT New York is right around the corner. So I do think a lot of these projects are still who are in NFT LA, like Claynosaurs, and I even think Liberty Square is also going to do something in NFT NYC. So we're in that lull between events where I think some projects are holding back catalysts. And once we see them start to announce things and getting prepped for the next coming event, we'll start to see a little bit more movement in the market. I don't think we're back into a bear market yet, but just a lull in the bull.
Yeah, I can definitely agree with that. I think this is just like, weird profit taking. We're going to find out who just went to NFT LA to figure out like events and everything like that. I think that's a little bit of profit taking. Like I guarantee you some of the people that bought a Claynosaur just to go to the event.
Yes.
And so this is normal profit taking. This is about the pullback zone of what I think is a good place to possibly re-enter into Claynosaurs, possibly look to scoop some. But you can see that across the board. Liberty Square, same boat. All these events that happened that had NFTs as their focus, you can start seeing it on that front. Do you want to bring up JoeSol though? Joe, how you doing, my man?
Brothers in arms, how we doing? I'm doing very well. Doris, great to see you, brother.
You too, man.
Very well put too. Great answer to that question. I couldn't agree more with both your sentiments. I think we found a beautiful spot here. I mean, it really depends on the macro situation with Solana at the moment, right? If we chop again, then we can see some good entries. But if we continue higher lows, man, I think we're going to see that black hole event. I think only a few projects are really going to suck in any liquidity for even worth a value proposition, right? Even worth you putting SOL to even make a flip or make it, appreciate on that asset. There's only a few plays I think that will be, a true value prop. All the rest are great. There's a lot of good plays, but I just don't think we have enough cyclical liquidity to push them higher for a good value prop. So I couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think these next this whole period between NFT LA and NFT NYC, we're really going to find out, like Joe said too. I think the price action of SOL, the overall macroeconomic conditions and everything like that are really going to determine what projects pump in the meantime and what projects probably just sit here and idle for a little bit. That's where I imagine we'll be for the next couple of weeks. And then NFT NYC is a bigger event. I know LA was like really good, and the fact that, Fast Eddie killed it. We love Fast Eddie, good friend of the show. Crushed it on getting this all set up. NFT LA looked like a blast too. We know we had a lot of people over there that had a ton of fun. It's great connecting. I feel like it was a more boutique event in the sense that there was only a handful of collections. And honestly, I think that's actually like a good thing. That's more the vibe I would like to go for. But Still plan on trying to go to NYC to make it out there. We'll see what happens as far as that goes. But nonetheless, yeah, I'm excited. I do think there's a lot coming up over the next like month and a half that should be really good catalysts. And then, May is around that time. I know it's always this cliche, sell in May, walk away. But I actually feel like that may be the case, in May. I may even try to front run it. I don't know what that looks like, but we're going to find out. In the meantime, I do think there's plenty of opportunity out there. I think this next month and a half will really be telling for the health of the ecosystem. So with all that said, let's get into some news. Let's get into some headlines, guys. Let's talk a little bit about where do I want to go first? Let's go with
it was a lot.
I know. Let's go with Do Kwon getting arrested. Some of the biggest news of the day. He got arrested in Montenegro. Guys, if you guys don't know who Do Kwon is, leader of Luna, the founder of Luna, they had a collapse in their peg stablecoin, just algorithmically like unstable where it is right there. Between him and SBF, that like those two combined to make like the perfect Bernie Madoff of today's day and age. So it's interesting. He got arrested in Montenegro. Not really a whole lot to talk about there. Just finally, Justin Sun apparently getting sued. This is some big names in the space. It feels like with all this inflation talk and everything, they're really starting to crack down on crypto. Does make me a little nervous as far as, more so the States than anything. The rest of the world seems a little bit more open to the idea. But as far as the States, what do you think these implications are for the future of crypto and NFTs? We'll go over to Dor first and then Joe second.
So there's no surprise on this show when it comes to macroeconomics. Your boy is not it. So my take is that of ones who's not as informed or knowledgeable about the macro environment, but still I think my perspective does matter because a lot of people aren't really that informed. So as somebody who doesn't really understand CPIs and how Russia is no longer going to use the United States dollar for trade with foreign entities. As far as U.S. regulation goes, I think it's like, while there is room for caution, I do think there's a lot of advocates in crypto with a lot of capital to push back against these laws. And I think that's the most important thing. We always knew regulation was going to come down, so it's not a surprise. So them going after people like Coinbase, who has literally been trying to do the legit thing since they've been established, but the SEC has severely lacked in any type of regulation. And if they're going to go after any entity for evading SEC laws, I think Coinbase is the one to do it. Same thing applies on the NFT side with Bored Apes. It's like, we always knew the SEC was going to crack down on NFTs, talking about their unregistered securities. Well, let's go after the number one NFT with the most liquidity to fight back. Hey, seems like the best shot, not my opinion. So while we're not out the woods yet in terms of any type of good regulation or what, I don't even know what's going to come out on the other end. At least there's a fighting chance to get something favorable to crypto regulation. But in the long run, regardless, even if there is negative legislation, this industry is going to continue to develop. It's not a United States-based industry. We'll see a pullback in the market, but guess what? I think we'll rebound because there's too many people out there that believe in this industry and what crypto offers for society overall. So in the long run, I still think we're going to keep, I'm still optimistic for the future, even though we're going to have a lot of bumps along the way.
I agree. In the grand scheme of things too, actually, let's let Joe respond to this and then I'll give my final thoughts on it. Joe, what do you think about all this, with these big leaders that we always knew were kind of scammy in the first place? It's not like this is anything new. We knew Justin Sun was just doing Justin Sun things. I mean, Tron from the get-go had a very cult-like behavior, reminded me a lot of XRP, except, more in a place with less legal and ramifications and everything like that. And feel like he got away with it for a longer period of time. What are your thoughts on all this, Joe, as far as legislation and everything like that? Do you worry at all for the future of NFTs and crypto?
So for the USA, this is how it is, man. Big money moves slow. They've realized decentralization is a direct opponent to the US dollar, right? And to banking systems in general, centralized banking system. They want you to give them your 10K with 0% APY so they can go leverage 100K and get their 4 to 5%, right? So if you think about it like that, and they have to have the ability, since it's decentralized, to own enough of these cryptos for themselves to feel okay and to be able to set up some type of APY service like Coinbase has, right? But not until they can, right? Not until they have, JP Morgan bank accounts on chain, right? We have a central bank digital currency. Great. Then you'll see the APYs and DeFi come out, but it's all going to be through the big guy, right? And it might sound a little, conspiracy theorist, but if you look at the money trails and watch how people move on the back end, right? It's been years in the making. It just kind of makes sense. So to me, this is all, it is what it is. They're going to go out after the big heavy hitters because they fall the hardest and they make the most ripples. And they'll do their best to FUD for a better entry. They want your cryptos, they want your coins, and then once all said and done, they'll have a nice DeFi set, a nice wallet set up, a nice ACH transfer instantly, right? Everything we're used to, but it's going to be through them. So, guys, not your keys, not your crypto, right? Cold storage is so important during these times, right? To be honest with you, not financial advice, right? But having your big money off exchanges come end of April might be a good idea, man. I'll be honest with you, right? Having big money on exchanges come the end of April is scary to me. It really is at the moment. So to be honest with you, there's a few NFT hedges that I'll hold, but the rest, man, I'd rather be liquid right now. I'd rather miss a bottom and buy back in than get burned, right? And so that's where I'm at right now. I'm just very cautiously optimistic. I love this space, and I don't think we're going anywhere, but we do have some time and some trials and tribulations to get through here.
No, Joe, I completely agree with you, dog. I hate to sound conspiracy theorist as well, but it's like I believe that big money doesn't understand the space yet, but knows it has potential, and they're going to FUD their bags until they can get the largest position in to have the greatest benefit of the market, man. So that's why it's like anytime I see some big money, or especially those in the media or even regular normies who don't understand it, try to talk negative about crypto, it's like, yo, you guys are just trying to FUD me out of my position. How many times was Bitcoin supposed to be going to zero since it's been established? Like, I can't, back in 2012, I recall, it's like people were like, oh, Bitcoin's finally going to come to an end after breaking a new all-time high. And it hasn't changed, man. And it just kept going up and up and up. And it's the same thing in this environment. It's like, we can't just let them FUD us out of our bags, man.
I agree. And, in the grand scheme of things too, it is like, how are you going to stop crypto? Like, how are you? Because I don't really see a way. They can shut down the centralized exchanges, so it just makes it harder for us to get on ramps, and off ramps for fiat, which, at the end of the day, we need to pay bills still, you know what I mean? But at the same time, it's kind of like, well, that's just going to accelerate the fact that a lot of people are going to use payment methods for different cryptos as well. Like, they're going to use the Moon Pays of the world. They're going to use Astro Pays and everything like that, where I think that'll just accelerate that process where people are like, you know what? I have all this crypto. I don't plan on going away from it. I am going to use it for payments. We are going to start seeing some more people open-minded to it. But I think in the short to medium term, it does add some implications. It does make things a little bit more hazy. But in the long term, I think this just accelerates that, like, hey, we need to get stuff out now. So this does become a payment network that is, interoperable in the sense that we can switch things with ease. We can also pay with ease. And it's just, if we can make it more convenient, especially for first world countries, right? That's what we care about these days. Convenience. It's all about convenience. So if we can make it more convenient for people, we're good. We're Gucci. I think in the long run, we win, especially with fiat.
Yep. And
talking about the US dollar not being pegged to a lot of Russia's international trade, where they're starting to accept the won and ruble now. That's where things, like, they're going to have all this currency war. And at the end of the day, you want to know what isn't going to be in that currency war? Cryptocurrency. Like, in the long run, we're gonna come out on top. We'll let them squabble and stuff, but and that's not even like tinfoil hat theory. I just think a lot of people, like we the people, accept the fact that this is borderless. We don't have to worry about conversion rates or anything like that. We can use it for payments. We can use it for store value. And I think it does help. And in the long run too, I think, or the short to medium term, I think speculation on NFTs does take a hit. And in the long run, we'll come to find out, like, hey, this is still fun. We're still going to have speculation, everything like that. So yes, I'm with Joe in the sense that I want to remain, this is like much more of a, let's get liquid over the next month or so, ASAP. And then we can figure out the rest later. And I'm so fine missing out on moves and everything like that, knowing that I'm taking risk off the table for me. So that's just my 2 cents. I definitely agree. Good takes from both of you guys. I appreciate it. Let's
appreciate your takes, dog.
let's get into Monkey DAO's proposal. Again, Dor, I'm gonna let you take the cake on this one. Then I want to talk about ordinal monkey business. But go ahead, let's talk about the proposal.
Yeah, I'm excited to hear this.
Yeah,
but I have nothing. Don't even come to me. We're here.
Dude, no, this like proposal was massive, dog. I'm talking about huge. So I had to like trim down the fat and to get like to the core information that you guys want. So the whole purpose of this proposal was to establish the official Monkey DAO collection, or OMC, as like the whole purpose behind this collection was to make Monkey DAO independent, because of the first we were under the previous devs, but now we're under Hate Swap. So it's just been a massive crap show, dude. So we're trying to raise funds through this mint to buy out Monkey DAO, or the SMB IP rights from Hate Swap. Now, we're putting a 2-month time limit on this thing. That's if this proposal passes, which I think it will. The results come out later today. But in order to do this, it's going to be a 10K mint, but a 15K total supply. 10K of that will be minted out during the initial mint, and the remaining 5K will be auctioned off over the remaining 12 months. So the way that the mint distribution will go is that each SMB holder, so if you have 2 SMBs, you'll be able to claim 1 mint pass per SMB. Those will go for 14 SOL a pop. Then there'll be a public raffle where you can get a mint pass for 18 SOL a pop. So there'll be 5K going there, and then 5K to the public raffle. Then for the remainder of the year, once again, auctions will be going through on the remaining 5K. There'll also be 5% royalties. They said enforced, but there's no plans for PNFTs yet. So I'm not too sure on that. It was kind of a bit conflicting in my opinion when I read through the proposal. And so, hold on one second. Yep. Yeah, so that's the overall scheme of how it's going to go, just like the short version of it. But yeah, man, if they aren't able to mint out or raise the money through the mint, they're going to try to look through other means to acquire, either through loans or doing some way to acquire the IP rights from Hades DAO. It's going for 2 million right now. However, that could change. And if that does change, like if Hate Swap continues to do things such as make SMB ordinals to hurt the overall brand, that could lower the price. But if they don't sell, then they're planning on to drop governance tokens to the SMB holders and either conduct some type of burn or swap, or even migrate governance over to some other means, Vice holding an SMB Gen 2. But yeah, man, it's complex. As you can see, the complexity of it is severely hurting the S&P's floor price.
I mean, that's the problem though, is even with this proposal, I think it's going to take a while for the stench of this whole takeover from Hades DAO to get off of Monkey DAO. I think eventually it will succeed. The one thing I do have questions about, what's the total supply of this OMC going to be?
It's going to be 15K. 10K will be mint, and the remaining 5K will be distributed over a year through auctions. I also do want to add in there, the OMC collection does not give you governance rights within Monkey DAO. The governance rights will be through a separate means.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead, Joe.
Quick question, Dave. This is one question I have. This is it. How can you guarantee that those funds will be enough to buy out? Or do you have a looming contract ready to go with set amount, like Hades DAO saying, you know what, we're taking 30,000 SOL, that's our price, once you get it to us, it's yours? Like, how can you promise, like, okay, we made this much from the mint, we have enough funds now? How do you have any idea if they're going to be like, yeah, they're going to negotiate with that price with you? You know what I'm saying?
You're right, man. That's the difficulty of this thing, dude, because it belongs to Hades DAO, and Hades DAO has to pass a proposal in order to allow something to go through. We saw in the past with Lieutenant Lollipop, even though he's both an SMB holder and the most massive Hades DAO holder, he has what, 20% of Hades tokens on the market. So his votes significantly sway the opinion of the direction of the proposal. There was a proposal that came out when all this information first came out about just giving the IP rights to Monkey DAO, and he voted no on that. So yeah, man, that's a huge possibility that could happen.
Okay, thank you, Dory. That's the only question I really had.
You're right.
Because because in my head, right, like you're a monkey, you're like, you know what, I'm gonna spend 14 soul, I'm gonna support because we're getting it back. But then you go, wait, they might negotiate $1 million more. They might go, haha, go F yourself. I don't want to give it to you. You can never count on HGE or those guys, man. They're so, left and right. So that's the only thing that kind of gives me hesitation. That's my only 2 cents on it, Dor. Thank you so much, brother.
No, that's fair, dog.
Yeah, I think I'm at the point where, like I said, long term, I believe in Monkey DAO. I know that people like Nom and all the leaders they have over there, Ricky, Simon, like all those people are fantastic people. They will end up crushing it. They'll find a way to get rid of this, but in the meantime, it's going to be a messy battle.
World of pain.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of pain. It's going to be a messy battle, and I just don't trust Hades DAO to let it go easily. And I think we're seeing that because Ordinal Monkey Business is a Hades DAO sort of project where they're just trying to extract value from SMB while they still have it. So they're getting SMBs over to Ordinals, trying to get a cash raise from there. And then they're like, we're trying to extract as much value in the meantime, because if we do sell, we want to make sure that we maximized our purchase. And in the meantime, there's no guarantee that it goes through. And I think that's the one thing like Joe's worried about, where it's like, bro, I don't even know if I trust, Hades DAO to let it go without a fight, even if they did agree on an amount. And also at the same time, I'm like, what? From an IP standpoint, you just entangle and let it go. Like, if they want the old monkey business and stuff, that's fine. But if you have this new collection, these new monkeys and stuff, who cares about the old monkeys, man? Let them have that piece of, Gen 1 was a real thing with SMBs too. That's the original dev collection over there. I don't know. I'm sitting there like, go ahead and get your new mint out. The one thing I will say in the grand scheme of things too, I don't like a 15K. I don't like it one bit.
I agree, dog. I agree, man.
I hate the 15K idea, because what it does is it devalue. I don't know so much about devaluing it. I think in the long run, it'll hold up the same market cap. I don't know what the translation looks like to current monkey holders, but what I do know is that it's a tight niche of people, right? Like 5,000 feels like the cap that you can have that tight of a DAO and make somewhat fluid decisions. 15,000, if you have, let's say you have like a 50, so 7,500, you have 7,500 people, whereas you have 2,000, 3,000 right now, SMB holders. That is,
what's the circulating supply of monkeys right now?
A circulating supply is 5,555.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's that low.
So you have about a 3x on supply.
I guess the really, tokenomics wise, we've all been here for a while. 1 of 1 allocation and maybe 2,500 extra, right? On top of that 55. But yeah, I agree. I didn't realize it was 50. That's
it puts people that have recently bought SMBs in the crosshairs as far as, like devaluing their investment, because if they do switch over to this OMC, what happens to their original investment? Well, the new OMC is probably, just by order of supply shifting, 3x higher, it's probably going to be worth a third of what it was, unless they continue to just massively propel value, in which case it's going to take a very large uphill effort to get you back to your original investment. So that's the one thing that's like, bro, like, I want it from Monkey DAO. I think in the grand scheme of things, it is the right way to go about it. But it just, from an investment standpoint, it hurts, because your break-even cost is going to be, it's going to be an uphill battle, in my opinion. So I don't know. I look at this. I want them to succeed so bad. I love the Monkey DAO people so much. I just want them to do what's best for not only them, but their holders too. So in the grand scheme of things, hope it works out. Ordinal Monkey Business, stop buying it. Stop buying it right now. It is a Hades DAO thing. Don't buy it. Don't buy it. Ordinals. Let's talk about ordinals for a second, because apparently we forgot what the meaning of burning was. We can talk about the gods a little bit, but I'm also fine with it too. Like, I'm like, well, they should have been burned. That's what you said they were, but then you're raising them back up from the dead, even though you never burned them. So you didn't really burn them, but now we're making them into ordinals. Look, one, it's a really good liquidity event for them. Go make your money. I've said this for a long time. Frank is a master of finding revenue, finding a way to market it, finding a way to make it super propped up, super hyped up, and make it into a big deal. I don't even know how this fits into the grand scheme of the collection, though. Like, are they going to have the same functionality? Are they going to get the same Discord access? Is it going to be a different Discord access? Are we going to hold them in a higher social status? To me, I don't know what that looks like in the grand scheme of things. But D-Gods made a bag, bro. They made 5.5 million. Yeah, bro, they made money off this. Let's go. I'm all about it. From a business standpoint,
Frank's
look
eating.
at this. I'm just like, yeah, dude, let's go. I'm hyped up for them.
You know the Wolf of Wall Street when it's like, sell me this pen.
Yeah. Oh, they sold pens. They sold pens.
You know what I'm saying? Like that, and at the end of the day, as a like that's what everyone's doing, man. Nowadays, anyone has proprietary blends, right? You can make anybody, anything at all times, but who can sell you that pen, right? And I think that's what they're capitalizing on at the end of the day. They have the liquidity there, and they know how to shape it to get that, extract that liquidity, and it's just selling pens all day, and I just don't see it stopping when we have markets like this, because you have those black holes of liquidity. Because if you're going to have money in a market and you go, well, I'm just going to keep it here, I don't want to put it to US dollars, I'm just going to have it sitting in this, or do I put it towards a blue chip that might get top 2 market cap? You know what, the risk of like, I just see that happening in times of like uncertainty in the macro. It's like, if that money is not going into a validator and you're just going to have it in Solana or Ethereum, there's a portion of those people that are going to go, I'm going to buy a blue chip with some of that and let it sit there.
Yep.
So I do think that the cheapest DeGod you'll see has been a Solana DeGod. It's not going to be an ordinal DeGod, and it's not going to be an Ethereum DeGod. It's probably going to be that Solana DeGod that was the cheapest you'll see. It's just, they have that hype cycle, man. They just, they hit it.
They are, y'all got some seriously strong Kool-Aid over there. I'll say that much.
Oh, yeah.
Because, just seeing the D-Gods on my timeline, like, this is historic and everything like that. Yeah, it is. I do think ordinals, like I've said before, or I said it on the Cyber Samurai space yesterday, I think ordinals are really good for two things. One, already established brands like D-Gods, like Yuga, like any other project that's going over there that has an established high floor, and they're like, we want to cement ourselves in history, and we'll go about it that way. I also think there's a little niche community like Bitcoin Bandits, like the Ordinal Maxi business or whatever it is that the ZK is doing over there. I think those will do well. A Taproot Wizard's another one. Yeah. But there's a few niche projects that I think will do well and establish themselves, but I think it'll be few and far between. I think 99% of the garbage over there is going to be nothing. So yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know what it looks like.
Mark my words. Any 25,000 inscription below will hold value. The rest is out there, bro. I'm telling you, 25,000 below will hold some value. Anything over that, they're saying 100,000 below. I don't see it. I'm sorry, I do not see it. I think with Magic Eden having a marketplace per se, yeah, you might see some minting and flipping because people are getting back to that paradigm they're used to: a wallet, a buy, a list, a flip. But macro-wise, man, I don't see ordinals, any of these random projects that are just getting pushed through right now, being a macro ordinal to like, oh, that's going to hold value, like a crypto pump. No, it's not going to.
Dude, you're right. You're spot on with that, Joe, because I don't see Bitcoin or ordinals being this big community-based type platform. I look at more of like fine art, stuff like Yuga Labs is releasing. I don't know if I would call it like D-God's fine art, but Frank does his thing and he does it well. So I just think those type of, like you said, just because you release a collection on there and you're like, oh, we're going to be a hype community, it's like, you're probably not going to last. Not Fading You is just a different culture on BTC as it is with ETH and Solana.
Yeah. I don't know. Ordinals, I'm over it already. We'll see what kind of niche they carve out for it in the future. But look, we go through these gold rush phases with every new chain, with every new way to mint an NFT or anything like that. We see it with Aptos, Near, Kanto, now Ordinals. We're gonna see it with Sui. We're gonna see it with whatever chains come out in the future, right? It'll always happen. Now, I do think Ordinals will find its niche. They'll find its way. Like Dorian said, I think it's for fine art, established brands, and maybe a couple of people that got in early as far as the projects go. Outside of that, it'll just be for the establishment. Everything else is just, I think it is a novelty collectible sort of ordeal over there. Sui is really the only chain that I think will go through this gold rush phase and still have a use case moving forward. I said this for a while now. HBAR would be another one that, I look at every now and then. They have a really good community over there, but still doesn't really tickle my, I would much rather focus my attention on Solana right now. So grand scheme of things, there will always be a gold rush on every new chain. It's just which chains are going to win out in the long run, right? I think that's ultimately where we're going to end up with this stuff. So all that said, a few more things I want to talk about. Lily is doing pretty well. Lily is coming out with a transmogrifier. So you're going to be able to change your stuff. It's going to happen with boots. You're going to be able to change hair color, skin color, I think. You might even be able to change gender. I can't, I don't know that for sure. If you can change it to a male or a female, that would be cool, in my opinion, because a lot of people are complaining, there's no good female PFPs, even though Lily has some of the best. It would be cool for people to be able to swap and go in and out of it. Now, at the end of the day, though, I always just think trait swapping without purpose is a little gimmicky.
Yes.
It's just a little gimmicky. And what I mean by that is not a knock on trait swapping. I think trait swapping with a purpose is bueno, right? That's good. But when you're messing with what should be collectibles, traits, which is you collect them for the traits, that's what makes them rare and everything like that. I think that's when we start getting into rarity issues. I think that's when we start getting into what value doesn't really have if everybody can swap into this trait or this trait. It really depends on the ideas that come with it. So I don't know. Like, what are your guys' thoughts on trait swapping right now? Let's go with Dor and then Joe.
Yeah, man, I think it's fun to do, but also, as you said, it really affects rarity. So like if you paid, I don't know, well above floor for a rare one, and now your rarities are messed up because of these new traits, how does that make you feel as a holder? So it's a very thin line that you have to walk. So if it does serve a purpose, by all means, I think people are more like, oh, I got a rare one, but these trait swaps serve a purpose, it's fine. But when you're doing it just for the sake of doing it, then I think it becomes iffy.
That's fair. I agree with that. Joe, what's your take on trait swapping?
Yeah, me and Bison talked about it the other day too. I think it's just like DTP with its its home, its mothering product with Raindrop and Boots. It saw a hit on floor price and rares because of everyone just was sniping what they wanted and then flooring their naked pandas or the traits they didn't like. So I think it's awesome for the consumer that loves their PFP, doesn't look to flip it, loves the community is there. But as an investor trader mindset, and you're looking to maybe flip rares or accumulate floors to swap out, it kind of changes the paradigm. And I think it will lower the floor price. It may help with the liquidity and the tradability of the asset, but I think it's going to lose and depreciate in value. Only because, if that makes sense, there's going to be more things to floor, causing the underlying actual value to be lower, right? Like the fair market value is going to be lower. More people are going to floor. Less people are going to look to snipe rares. There's going to be less. It's just going to be more or less a trait marketplace, right? Where you go and buy traits now. So the underlying asset's going to be cheaper, which if that's for onboarding purposes and tradability, that's great. But for the actual underlying asset, the true value of that asset, I think it's going to take a hit.
Yeah. I'm coming around to the idea that unless trait swapping is done with a purpose and it's done with good incentives in mind, even in the case, so like I think Wolf Capital will do trait swapping really well. I've talked to Jay Shep a little bit about it, but I want to pick his brain a little bit more. But I think they'll do it in an effective manner. Now, like you said, Joe, I think this is going to affect floor prices, right? The floors, people are just going to pick the cool traits off stuff, put it into one like Giga Wolf or something like that. And then there's going to be a bunch of floors, right? So the floors are what I worry about. And what's the first thing you look at when you're looking at a project and wondering like how valuable you think it is, right? The floors. I say judge a project on, I always say judge a project on its floors, not by its rares or its legendaries or anything like that. It's the floors that matter because the floors are what's going to prop up floor price. It's what's going to make the project look good. And if you don't have that, you have a bunch of floors that all look the same. It's going to hurt public perception just because we are in NFTs. A lot of people are headline readers. So when you see that floor price, you think, oh, okay, that project isn't worth very much. Whereas you could have a Wolf Capital that's worth 10 SOL as a floor, let's say. And then like the sickest, you got it decked out and all the scum traits and stuff. And that one's worth like 1,000, right? It has all the cool traits. It's all combined together. Maybe there's some burn mechanisms in there, which is what I would hope there would be. But at the same time, again, It's just going to affect the floor, and people look at floor prices. It's just people don't look at light papers. They don't look at like what's the value disparity or anything like that. The standard deviation between the top and bottom of the NFTs. They just look at floor prices, and they just want to know, is it going to moon? Right? That's just where NFTs are.
Yeah, and
So
I couldn't agree
Go
more.
ahead, Joe.
Do it real quick, man. I think Bison, the only way out of that is for someone like you. You own a bunch of great wolves, right? I just thought about this example, right? Amazing scum wolf, right? If the trait marketplace is there, right, and you have airdropping traits to holders that are delisted and or staked in your thing, that you're getting new artist traits that are very rare and only made once, and then you can shift your like actually highly liquid place to where you can come in and even get SOL for your scum, right? Maybe get 2 SOL less than the floor right now or something, but you're able to get liquidity on that trait, and that trait goes on the market, and like the house holds that trait now. Like, I think there's ways to really make this work, but people have to be smart and people have to be innovative and gamify it. If not, I don't, like you're saying, man, I just don't see it really propelling force to floors gaining value.
I think you're absolutely right, Joe. I think, and that's where I think Wolf Capital, I think, again, they've been on the forefront. So I love Jay Shep in the sense that he's willing to try new shit out. And, you know, he was doing the Block 9 stuff, the first generative collection that I know of to use Block 9. And we found out it's kinks. You know, props off to him. I think people moving forward now know how to use Block 9 and every, you know, the whole bid platform itself. I think he's also going to set the stage on what good trait swapping looks like with the trait packs by airdropping it to the people that aren't listed. Then you add those traits to your naked wolves that you switched all the good traits off into one wolf. And then, you know, like I have a diamond-eyed, it's scum Tilamati. I want to put my scum headpiece on it. He'll look like, you know, he has blood coming out of it. He'll look like an Aztec god. I'm so excited for it. But, you know, with my naked wolf now I can now use those trait packs in order to put the traits on it. And then I would hope that there's some like burn mechanisms or payments that go to Wolf Capital in order to put those traits on. I'm sure he's thought about this already. These are the questions.
Naked floors, then another one, Bison, right there to fit in with you. Naked floors now are curing value. Why? Because you need a naked floor to fit it how you want with the traits you love or the new hot traits. You just got 1 out of 3. You need a naked wolf. You don't want to pay to get other traits off a wolf. Those naked wolves now are floor, but the floor is hot, right? So yeah, bro. Sorry, just had to add that.
Well, this is why I'm thinking like Wolf Capital is going to be like the prime case study for, and I'm glad we'll get into the next part of Wolf Capital because we have some further news on it. I love Jay Shep. Jay Shep is literally like, you know, we don't give him enough credit right now. But man is just out there. He's trying new shit. He's doing new shit. He put a bunch of dope artists together. We're getting a Ben Keith, what's it called, trait pack here soon. I'm excited for it because I'm so curious to see how this all plays out. Right? So curious to see.
I got a DJ Poet airdrop. That was pretty awesome.
What did you?
Yeah, man. I got two. If you don't have one, I'll send you guys one.
Yo,
I have two.
I know for a fact, this is proof. You've been around for 1,000 lives. You're such a good guy that karma is just reward. You get the best luck, bro. Like, oh, man, dude. Nah, man, that's awesome, bro.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I only have one of them. Sorry, guys. I'm not giving my.
That's okay. That's okay. I don't expect you to. Dort, I know you're gonna say something. I want to move on to my next point.
Yeah, it was just as we always talk about cleanosaurs, I just wanted to hit on like just having naked floors. And the rarity of a cleanosaur collection is unique because the dinosaurs essentially have nothing on them, and rarity is established by movement and breed. So I do want to give a huge shout out to the Cleanosaurs team and have enough foresight, because once you start intermixing these different armors, I think that's where rarities are really going to come into play, and not necessarily right now, because the floors, I mean, I don't want to say they look bad, but they're not anything interesting. But once we see these armors start coming into play, even one that doesn't move could have some amazing armor on it, and that's going to give it more rarity. So the team was very intentional about making sure all these guys were naked for a reason.
Yeah. I agree. I do think the fact that naked ones are going to be less in cost, and maybe you have to like store your traits on a wolf. Therefore, the blank canvas is the way to go, right? Because if not, maybe you have like storage costs or whatever that looks like. I don't know. It's going to be a very interesting case study when it comes to it. But I'm glad we're focusing on the art over at Wolf Capital because I love it. I love the art so much.
Yeah, it's really good.
Let's talk about the platform though, because I want to get into my next segment. Talk a little bit about how these token gated platforms that we've seen time and time again. Everybody moves on to the next shiny object. And now we have some of these more older established projects coming out and taking the core value on some of these projects away by introducing it to the market and saying it's free of charge or anybody can use this or whatever that looks like. There's two instances of this in recent memory. So one is Famous Fox just introduced citrus mortgages. So you can actually mortgage NFTs, which is the whole premise of Core from UGS. Citrus is really easy to use. I don't know if you guys have been on the platform yet. As far as the loans and everything go, I'm not crazy about them too much because I thought we were able to edit the term date on some of these loans. And meanwhile, I'm only finding like 3-day loans on like Clanosaurs and stuff. And I'm like, I want longer than 3 days. I want like a whole week. I'm going to go back to Sharkify. But mortgages, a little bit interesting. They integrate directly in with marketplaces. So you can then buy one. You can buy it as low as like 10% down from what I see. And then you can sell it directly into an AMM pool from there. So you can capture the whole gain of whatever you mortgaged and the spread, and the people get their money back plus interest. It's a really interesting system that for me, I tried using Core a couple times and it hasn't worked yet for me. I don't know if it's a PNFT issue or whatnot, but I looked at this. I was like, well, I can use this. I can use this. We now have another case where Monkey Baby Business just came out with a loan analytics platform. And again, nothing to Jay Shep. He's going to do the aggregator still, at least that I'm aware of. But this analytics platform's sick. I don't know if you've seen it. It's great. It's free to use. You can literally just pop it open. You can go to loans.monkeybaby.business. It pops it up. I'm looking at everything right now. It's a great analytics platform. This is not token gated or anything. So now this is coming to, I said it about 2 weeks ago on No Fluff, right? Like, you guys don't tune into No Fluff. You're doing yourself a disfavor or disservice. It's one of the best spaces on Twitter when it comes to Solana NFTs in general. 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right before our show. You can actually go from No Fluff right into RareFUD. It's beautiful. But I said it a couple weeks ago on that space that I am kind of getting bearish on utility plays, right? I'm no longer on utility plays. I think Clano came through and changed like how we perceive IP plays. Bubble Goose is even coming out with some stuff now where their floor price has gone up. They're up to like 7 sold. They're back at mint price. Carl and Slatty and everybody's talking about, building out the IP and stuff. They got stuff on the way. I'm sitting over here like, okay, IP plays are hot right now in Solana. This is great. Now I look at utility plays and they have like maybe a few month lifespan before people move on to the next best thing, or a competitor just comes in and introduces something either better or not token gated and available to the whole use. And what they're doing with these platforms is then driving traffic to their brand, right? It's driving traffic to Monkey Baby. I want a Monkey Baby business. I have faded them for way too long. I love Finn. I think Finn is a phenomenal builder.
How much are they going for right now?
The last time I checked, they're like 40-ish SOL.
Really?
Yeah. Which they ran up to. They ran up to like 100.
They were to like 100 plus.
Yeah. They're at 43.69 over on Magic Eden right now is the floor according to Soul Sniper. But I want a Monkey Baby business. I also want a Fox. They not only have this great, they keep building just consumer facing projects or products over and over and over again. They also have like this metaverse coming out, dude. I know I don't like metaverses. I think they're kind of lame and stuff.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of them.
The trailer looks sick though. I at least want to explore. And look, I've been fading Foxes for too long. I just think they're one of the more stable projects in terms of got great IP. I see them all over the place. If you open up a Brave tab on Brave browser, sometimes you'll see Famous Fox Federation just pop up. You're like, wow, yeah, they got good reach over there. I love the Foxes. I think it's really fun, cute art, that everybody.
Their runway is insane, guys. Let's be honest. Like, they make so much SOL a week.
Yeah.
Like, if you're gonna put money into it, that's an actual business. They're a business. They're one of the few successful businesses on Solana. They make weekly the same amount that any business that's evaluated $100 million plus.
Yep.
They're profiting that, right?
Yeah.
So like, you're able to buy into a business for under $2,500. That's over $100 million valuation. If we want to really play gross theory with that, like 100%. So yeah, B, that's a great point, dude. I think people sleep on that. During the bear, they've built enough platform where they've accruing enough fees to make that much money a week. Think about when raffles come back. Think when their bread and butter comes back on top of everything they've made that's nuanced because they had to in the bear and get creative. Like then you're compounding their bread and butter with all their nuanced little feelers they put out there that has been successful. So that's it's a great point, man. That and MBB, man, I agree with both.
Look, they're just long established. If anybody's going to build it, they probably have the connections and know how to do so already. That, you know, the time it takes for some of these projects that are newer to the market to, you know, catch up and learn and figure out what they're going to do as far as product goes. These guys flipping out a product like that. I mean, Foxy Dev over there is correct. The whole Fox Dev team is correct. So I don't know. I look at these. If you want a utility play, these feel like the safer place to go. We're seeing Blocksmith Lab at 40 something SOL right now. We're seeing Famous Fox just keeps putting out products, so I don't worry about them at all. Monkey Baby Business going to keep doing that. Look, they probably saw this and were like, look, we'll just keep driving traffic to our brand. And there's only 3,000 of them. So I think they're, you know, where they're at right now, pretty good steal. And they have a really good community over there. So love Monkey Baby Business. Outside of that, I don't want anything to do with utility anymore. I'm done with it.
Dog, even Tayo's down to 114, dude.
Yep.
Yeah, man. That's hard times, dog. That's hard times.
Man, I just don't see why in a Mac, bro. If you have $10,000 to $20,000 in a product and you go, damn, this. Would you rather have $10,000 to $20,000 in spot SOL or USD, or $10,000 to $20,000 in a product that's like, is it a like what? Like you have to be very realistic at this point. It's hard-earned money, right? Like, is someone going to come in here and sweep enough to give me a value proposition where I'm going to make enough SOL and USD compound to make it worth my while? And it's like 99%. No, it's truth, bro. Like, save your money, get yourself in a position to like, bro, if we have a red market, if we have something that goes down macro war, if you have liquidity sitting there, you can get maybe your first house at a steal, right? These little wins are there to be had, but you won't have them unless you have liquidity, right? The double entendre of that is you freaking yourself out, FOMOing, thinking, no, this is the bottom, I'm going to miss it. Let me tell you what, we're close enough to the bottom where if you do miss the true one and you come in when we go, oh, we're solidified at $44,000 BTC, there'll be plenty of money to be made. I'm telling you, I've been here long enough.
Yep.
Protect yourself and don't set yourself up with liquidity in an asset or a product that is just not there. Be realistic and be smart, guys.
I agree.
100%, dog.
So my thesis moving forward until further notice is going to be, does the project have a fantastic community? Are they able to spin it into a cult-like community? And or do they have enough of an appeal to be a mass market mover like Claynosaurus? You know, I would say Claynosaurus is probably my best view of that, where I see like their plushies, their video games, their everything would come through and not just feel like it's this luxury gaming market or luxury, you know, novelty toy, but something that would have general appeal to a wide variety of audience. And it wouldn't just be for NFT holders. And that would be the example of the last one. The cult one, D-Gods takes the cake on that one. Holy cow.
Easy clap.
Like, I mean, you cannot, dude, D-God Maxis be going wild on my timeline right now. Wild. Some of them I'm like, what's going on over here? Like, how much Kool-Aid did you sip? But you can't say anything because they're massively in profit. You know what other project is. And so, and then the first one where it has like the community that you just really want to be a part of is the stuff like Cyber Samurai. It's the stuff like Monkey Baby Business. It's the stuff like that Foxes ride for each other too. It's finding, you know, those are the three buckets that I'm looking at, and it's, you know, give them +1, +2 if they're able to combine all three of them. So that's it. I don't care about your utility. I want your utility to drive traffic or desirability into the project, raising the floor price. That is all your utility is good for. So at the end of the day, floor price go up, best utility, right? Token gated utility just doesn't make any sense to me anymore. That's it.
Yeah, dude, I'm right there with you, man. I don't think JShep's aggregator is token gated, but I do think there is a charge if you want to like do certain functions on it. You got, that's fine. Yeah. That's fine. And so, and I do think there are multiple competitors in the same space. So I don't think it's an issue that Famous Fox has come out with theirs and J-Shep is coming out with theirs, because we can see this from the loan side of things. There's RainFi, there's Sharkify, there is Fract, and all of them will coexist. Obviously not equally, and the better product so far, and Sharkify, in my opinion, has risen to the top, but that doesn't mean that there aren't other options out there. Same thing with marketplaces. So even though there's competition coming about, I think it's good to not only make a better platform for the user, but also to promote a competition in the space between different products.
Yep, I agree. I agree. I don't know. At this point, I'm just tired of utility focused plays. I
Yeah,
like
same, dog.
utility enhanced plays in the sense that, you're able to prop it up and like, Finn showing how great of a builder he is with Monkey Baby Business, but it's driving people to the community of Monkey Baby Business. It's raising the floor price. It's getting people to vibe in there. It's getting holders to hold and not flip, right? That is what they're doing. Gecko's another good, version of that too. Those are the projects I'm looking to invest in. Everything else is just noise to me. So, guys, let's get into Alpha Corner before we wrap up the show. We got about 5 minutes left on our timer. What are you guys looking at for the next week or so? I know we weren't able to do NFT Showdown because you guys both had obligations to get to. Joe got pulled over. But as far as we'll get to it on Tuesday, but what are you guys looking at, over the weekend leading into Tuesday? Is there anything that appeals to you? Or are you kind of just sitting on the sidelines? Let's go with Door first and then Joe.
Dude, I'm mostly sitting on the sidelines, but if I'm looking at anything, it's Claynosaurs right now. Specifically not Claynosaurs, but clay, croissants, and clay makers. I just think it's a matter of time before that utility announcement kicks in, or the armor announcement. And once they do, I really think those croissants are going to fly, and I think clay's going to fly, and I think clay makers are going to fly. So I've got my eye out on a croissant. I don't know what the utility of tacos are yet, but I feel like I just feel like the first thing that'll be announced are armor upgrades for Claynosaurs. So our classes at least, and then we'll see Claymakers come into use for that, and then we'll see armor released, and then Claymakers will be used for that, and then croissants as well. So I just got my eye on that.
Yeah, I think the Claynosaur right now is going through a period where we're cooling off a little bit after a meteoric rise that Joe called the bottom. If you guys don't follow Joe on Twitter, you guys are missing out on alpha. But I think it's going on through a cooling off period. People are taking profits. People are, sitting on the sideline. Maybe they're scared out by the macroeconomic conditions. And they're like, okay, maybe clay dinosaurs aren't the future reserve currency of the world, which is fine. Not yet, but
they will be.
In the meantime, I think this is a really good opportunity for a lot of people too that have been feeling the FOMO of buying into Clayno or anything like that. I look at just the chart and it looks like a pretty good place to, either start averaging in or at least monitoring it so that you aren't missing the next leg up, because I think there will be one in the future. We always say catalysts are on the horizon. You do have NFT NYC. You do have armor coming eventually. We'd have the game. We have, just so many catalysts on the horizon. So I think I'm fine in the short term as far as the oscillation goes and floor price, because for the most part, I'm massively in profit. I don't care. So, but I do agree that, clay under 2 right now looks pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Clay makers for sure. And then dinos, we're approaching that 60 range. 60 sounds like a really good price to buy Claynos. That's just not financial advice. That's just my take on it. Please, we are just bozos trading JPEGs on the internet. Joe, what are you looking at right now?
Yeah, so for me, I have my exposure I want. I have Claynos, I have my D-Gods. I got the people I trust. I got some Wolfcap. I got Cyber Sams. I got all my T's crossed and my I's dotted. I think, to be honest with you, like a Famous Fox and or MBB is actually a good stash too on the ledger, and set it and forget it. But there's a vacuum to be had at like $28 to $33 SOL. And I just think, man, I'm just a permabull for that microwave that's still sitting there. And I do think this like next C wave could push us to that. And I just don't see NFTs really surviving through that rip. Like if we go to 28 and 33, disbelief sets in, people start getting really, FOMO and like people flooring. So to me, I have my positions that I'm willing to just sit on and really trust in, just for either community or IP play. or utility. Other than that, I'm looking really to play a Sol spot long, right? Like a spot long here on Sol by DCAing out of my positions that I haven't profitable in on my compounding effect through NFTs, taking that out into the spot asset, and then swing longing that right now. I think I have a better position to making an appreciation on that than I do on said trying to flip a project for a couple Sol weekly or whatnot. There will be the outliers, right? The mint and flip season is there. I made a crap ton from flip.
You ain't the only one, dog.
Like it's there, but that liquidity, unfortunately, normally rolls back in. For me, it's rolling out, and I don't think I'm the only one. So I got to think, okay, times 10 on my thought process, and that's how I'm deriving my opinions on this process.
Yep, I agree. I agree. Yeah, I guess in the meantime, what I'm looking at right now is Wolf Capital has been really fun to trade. I looked at a lot of value disparity, so I'm selling my rares right now, and I'll probably trade the floors. I am keeping, like I said, I have a Scum Hat guy. I have a Scum Tilamati with diamond eyes and blood mouth, and he looks sick, and I can't wait to put the hat over on the other one. If I could trade the Galaxy Fur over there too, holy cow, it's going to look like
Galaxy Fur is sick.
Dude, it's so sick. I also have a Solana Fur one that I'm going to keep that, looks like a hype beast. He has like a little halo and, like a lip ring or nose ring. I can't remember, but he looks like he's busting for real. So in terms of other plays I'm looking at, I don't know. I'm looking at Oogie post mint, post reveal is what I'm looking at. I just think there's going to be value there. I was able to catch bastards around like sub 10. So I think, I have a small bastards bag. I'm planning on getting a little bit of Oogie exposure because look, you don't look at that price action and say there isn't something going on over there. Like it's hard to ignore. So I want to be, like I like Justin a lot, and I like the people I see supporting Oogie. I at least want to try it out. Maybe I flip it. Maybe I don't. I don't know what it looks like, but I that's my plan for it is post reveal. I will jump into Oogie, see if I can catch some rares or some floors and just see what the hype is about. Other than that, my net worth is going to be in Clay Dinosaurs, and it's going to be in the heist, baby. That's coming up soon. All my
let's go. I can't wait for it.
I'm going to be absolutely playing that game into the ground. It's going to be so much fun. I am so excited to share it with everybody. We going heist, baby. We going after that Nana. Other than that, I'm pretty much sidelined. Oh, the one thing we didn't talk about, guys. The one thing we didn't talk about, Iron Paw Gang gave us a date. We finally have a date.
Oh, yes.
April 3rd. 0.15
5 p.m. EST.
Yeah. 0.15 ETH too. So we're on the lower side of things. I really wish I held on to my supply box of monkey now, because I think 0.15, the variable for me was, if we are going to 0.3 or 0.35, it's like, that's a little rich for me right now.
Yeah. But Adam said on Easy Stream that he wanted to keep the mint price low because he knows that's a good opportunity for traders.
Yep.
So he intentionally made it 0.15.
So I plan on, I would get one on secondary, and I think I still think I made the okay decision to sell at like 60, but I want to buy Iron Paw on secondary. I'm hoping there's a reveal time, like there's a delayed reveal, because there will be 2 liquidity events on that, and since it is more of an art focused play, that's 2 great options. You got the people that want to reveal it and see if there's a minting, a reveal mechanism. Then maybe they get a rare and stuff, so you can play into that. And then you can also play into, I'm fine with the floor one, dude. I think they all look sick over there.
Yeah.
There doesn't feel like there's a floor one. There just feels like there's sick, and then there's ridiculously sick. So I'm definitely over there. I'm getting my ETH bags ready. I'm definitely going to be over on Iron Paw, and I'm hoping the fact that, look, ETH projects are down. I don't know if you guys saw, but these blur farmers going crazy over there with, Base E was down to like below 60 the other day. Punks took a hit. All these projects taking a little bit of a hit because of blur farming. I think maybe Iron Paw doesn't go as nuclear as we thought they might. Yeah. And it might be a slow grind up, in which case I am so excited. I want that. Now that I sold, I'm like, yeah, give me the slow grind up, baby. I want to buy all of those. So
your boy has not sold. I picked up a supply chain voxel. I don't even remember the price. I've been holding my 4x4
they're
for
at 90
God
right
knows
now.
how long.
They are? Yeah, supply voxel bots. The supply chain voxel monkey drop is at like close to 90 right now. I don't know. I should have waited. I knew I should have waited for this date to come, because they're crushing it right now. So Yeah, I don't know.
That's
You go into the game theory
that.
of like, okay, do I sell now and just try to play secondary, or do I hold on to it mint, knowing that my supply voxel chain, the airdrop is going to be
Is going to
worthless?
zero.
It is going to zero.
Is going to zero.
Or like one
And
soul or something, like it's gonna be nothing.
that's the difficulty of it, man. It's right now, it's like it's hard to gauge, especially with my lack of knowledge of the ETH space. Is like, how high can this thing actually go? The only reference I have for it is Invisible Friends, and that's sitting at 1.5 ETH now. Do I think it's better than Invisible Friends? Yes, it has motion effects, a lot of things. So let's say I'm looking at 2 ETH right now, which is what, like 4K close? And will it run up to 2 ETH post mint? So it's like all these different questions. Do I sell for 90? Because I'm keeping my 4x4, no doubt. Your boy is minting 1 at least. But now the difficulty, as you said, Bison, is like, do I trade that? Like, that's 90 sold, man. That's a nice little bag.
I would sell my supply bot, and I would definitely keep my 4x4. And the one thing he did say is that 4x4 is his first edition. He plans on having future value to it. And plus the art is just art. It has a store value, whereas the other one's just an airdrop that was given to supply bots by Daramola. So, that one's going to zero. The 4x4 is going to hold its value. I would keep that, sell your supply bot, and then you get to mint one and use those funds if you want to buy 2 or 3 more over on secondary, over on ETH. That would be what I do.
Yeah, I think that's the play. I really do think that's the play, man. I don't think these are going to cook up to 8 ETH post mint like that. Like,
maybe not
I
right
think
away.
I'll be able to get it.
Maybe not right away.
No,
right?
Not right away. But I'm bullish on Adam, so I know he's gonna cook, and I know he knows what he's doing. But like right away, yeah, I'm gonna consider listing it and doing that. But I'm definitely keeping my 4x4 to mint one.
Yep,
that's 100% happening. That's no doubt.
Yep, I think that's a good call, Dor. Yeah. Guys, anything else we want to do before we sign off right now?
I want to thank everybody for tuning in today. It's always great it's crazy to see increasingly more people in the chat, and then people asking for Discords and stuff. It's like, yo, this is going from like 2 people in the stream to like a whole bunch of people just wanting to kick it with us. So it's pretty cool. So thank you, everybody.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, Sahu's saying lots of loans underwater for Klano and Blocksmith Labs right now. I completely agree. That is why I am not buying right now. I want to with all of my might to buy more clay dinosaurs, but I'm not going to. I'm going to wait to see what those loans do. Wait to see if there's any value over there. We need a RareFUD Discord. It is coming soon. I promise you guys, it is coming soonish. It'll come after the heist, man. I'll give you that much. But anyways, that'll do it for us on today's episode. Thank you so much for kicking it with us this week. We do stream every Tuesday, Thursday, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Episodes uploaded to podcasts shortly after the episode. Make sure you hit that subscribe button down below if you're watching on YouTube. Make sure you follow us on Twitter. Make sure you leave us a review, please, on Spotify and podcasts. It does help us a tremendous amount. And we thank you so much for kicking it with us today. Oh my goodness, I cannot get words out. Hope you have a great rest of your day.